Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm going to show you guys how to encrypt and decrypt a NC, a Caesar cipher. A Caesar cipher is based on transposition and involves shifting each letter of the plain text message by a certain number of letters, historically three. We're going to be doing three. So, here is Visual Basic. If you don't have Visual Basic, download it. I am going to put a link to my Visual Basic um, video below so you can get to this screen. And what is very important, your file location. And it's in your repos. Okay, so in Visual Basic, wherever you have created your project, you have to put your file in that folder. So I'm going to show you where mine is. Mine is in C. So you go to C, you go to users, you go to your particular folder. I happen to have two on this computer, but this is the one that I use for this one. Then you go to source and then repos and then your particular one. I happen to have more, but that particular one, and that's where you put your file that you want encrypted. Okay, so I'm going to open up this file. Okay, this file has logins to it. Okay, so username, it's a username password file. So the username on the left, the password on the right. And what I have done for the purpose of coding is to put EOF at the end of file. And usually you don't have to put this because, they know it's the end of file, but for some reason, this works better if you put end of file. So you have created your file, your notepad file. Just open up your notepad, put in your login file, example file like I did. I just made it up completely for the purpose of this, and you should be good to go. Make sure it's in the proper location that I showed you in the source repo. Now we're going to get to coding. Alrighty, so this is the standard. When you open up Visual Basic, a new project, I'm not sure if they already have these standard libraries up here, but if they don't, you can include them. And the purpose of these libraries, okay, the first one is it's a header, it's a general. It's a header file, and it allows us to perform input and output operations in C, functions like printf and scanf. And then the other one is standard library, and it's a header of general purpose, and it's for memory allocation, process control, math functions, stuff like that. So it is pretty standard. So the first thing is that, okay, so this is where our main code goes in. So it goes in between this. So this little bracket right here is going to end up way down here when we're finished. So the first thing we need to put is our input and output files and our characters. So I'm just going to put that code in. Okay, so these are our files. Within this code, these are our files. So when we say something that's input, then it goes into input and it changes. And if we say something that's output, we put in an output, and we make a character ch, and it's a temporary character. It changes all the time. So when we do that do while loop, in order to encrypt the file and also decrypt the file, then it holds what's in the character and do what we need it to do. Okay, so the next part, I'm just going to paste in because it's so similar. Okay, so this part of the code, it basically opens up, the username password text file that we created. It opens it up in read mode, okay? And it makes sure that it's not empty. And if it's not empty, that's what this shebang is. If it's not empty, so not equal to zero, then it goes on to do what we need to do, the do while loop that we haven't put up here yet. So if it is equal to zero, then it'll come up file read error. And also in the output file, same thing. If it's equal to nothing, then it'll put out an error. Okay, so I'm going to paste what we want it to do. This is the do while loop. Very simple code to encrypt, very simple. Okay, and this is the do while. Okay, this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to go through each character, it changes. So we go through each character. Okay, we add three, we shifted three, and we put it into the output. Okay, and we do this while the character is not at the end of the file. Pretty simple, huh? And once it's completed, then it'll show encryption completed, and then the output txt file will be created, and we can see that in our file when it's created. So, okay, so we got all of our code, we got our checks and our do while. So let's run it. Okay, build starting. It was build errors. So let's see. We don't want to go from that successful build. Expected a declaration. Do while. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's try this. Okay, let's run it again. Alrighty. So we have encryption completed. Now, press any key to close the window. Now let's look at our file and see if we have a new file, a new output file. Okay, and there it goes. Let's open up the output file and see. See, it's completely encrypted. Okay, let's see the output file. Okay, here's the output file. It's completely encrypted. And we're going to use the same encryption in another file to decrypt. So there you go. Okay, so in our files, we have an output file. Okay, so we have the output file that is encrypted. So what we want to do is we want to rename this as encrypted. So now when we go over to our code, we're going to put in code to decrypt the file, and we're going to end up with a decrypted folder in here. Okay, so this is our old code that we have in here. Okay, so this is the old code that we have in here. And we are going to put our new code in here to decrypt. And it's so similar. It is so similar. It looks like the same code. Really, the only thing that's changed is the names of the files and the instead of +3, instead of shifting the characters +3, we're shifting the characters -3. So I'm just going to put the code in here. Okay, so you see how instead of the UN, the username password text, is the encrypted text. And instead of the output file being output.txt, it's decrypted by text. And then instead of them printing encryption completed, is decryption completed. And then instead of putting output.text created, is decrypted text created. So pretty much the same thing. So we're going to run this code. And the decryption is completed. Okay, so you go back to the file and you'll see that we have decrypted text. So let's open that up. So we have the decrypted text, and you see it has all the usernames and passwords, and then it has that EOF and some other crap behind it, but it decrypted it. So there you go, and you have an encrypted and decrypted Caesar cipher file in C. Thanks for watching. Bye.